there, everybody. It's Alyce-Kay Ruckelshaus from Threshold of Hineni, and I am here for a crafting video. I know I haven't done a crafting video in forever. I just haven't felt like it, and to be honest, I haven't done a lot of crafting. I have a bookmark that I'm working on. I have not quite finished with this, but that's the only crafting I've done for a while. So anyway, what I want to do is I want to make a very simple journal. I'm going to just fill it with plain coffee dyed paper. I may put in a few pockets or something, but not a whole lot. Kind of depends. And I'm going to use my untorn coffee dyed paper, so I need to have a cover that's going to be big enough for that. And so I decided a file folder would be best, of course. And I just need to cut it to size here. Now, what I want to do is I want to cut it so that it's going to be about a quarter of an inch larger on each side. So it's going to be, so a quarter of an inch, because I'm starting with it folded like this. Okay, and actually I want to start by folding it on one of these inner lines so that it will be able to curve as the journal gets filled. And I like kind of a curvy spine anyway, rather than having it being straight. So I'm going to go ahead and fold all of these little scored parts that would be normally at the bottom of the file folder. Okay, so I'm doing that really quickly. It doesn't have to be done super neat. Remember, a junk journal, usually shabby chic, so you want it to be, you don't want it to be perfectly neat. Okay, so that gives me my back cover, and I'm going to have it like this, so that I've got one of those sections on top, one as the spine, and one here, but that's all going to actually form the spine. Okay, and then I want to cut it like that with this will be 8.5 by 11, no, it'll be 9 by 11.5 total, but I'm cutting it while it's in half. So it's going to be 5.5 by 8.5 by 11 is what the size of paper is, right? Okay, so 8.5, so that's 9 divided in half would be 4.5, right? 4.5, okay. No, this way it's going to be the 11, so that's going to be 11.5. So half of 11 is 5.5 plus 1/4 for the extra half. So 5.5, 5 3/4. Okay, so we're going to go for 5 3/4. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and fold that this part of the spine, I'm going to fold that in half too. It'll make it easier for me to cut, and it'll just make it more rounded in the end. So again, I'm not trying to be really careful. That part's not scored, so it's definitely not, being folded perfectly, and that's okay. Actually, it's good for it to be like that. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so what did I say? 5.5, 5 3/4 is what I need. Oh my goodness, I'm a mess. 5 3/4. 5 3/4 from the fold. So I'm going to turn it this way. Okay, so I'm going to go 5 3/4. You guys, can you yell at me if it's wrong, please? I'm like having problems. I haven't done any crafting for so long that I can't even do it. Okay, I've got it pushed up against the edge here, and I measured 5 3/4 here, right? Yeah. So I'm going to cut it. It's 2 layers of thick cardstock, so I'm going to go through it a couple times just to make sure I got it all. But yeah, it went through on the first time. Okay, I love this cutter. I've had it for about a year, maybe a little bit more. Of course, I haven't been crafting all that much, but it's lasting really, really well. So I'll post it on the bottom for you in case you want to get it. This is like, it does everything. It has punches. This is for making envelopes. It has these little things that you can pull out and use. I've shown it elsewhere. I'll try to see if I can find that video and link it. Okay, so that's the 5.5. That's the 11. Okay, and so then this is 8.5, 9. So that's also 5.5. How did that end up being? 9 is 4.5. 4.5. So yeah, so 9 is 4.5. So I'm going to go to 4.5 here. I'm gonna have to put a piece of paper in and make sure this is right, you guys, because it doesn't seem right. It really, really doesn't seem right. 11. Does that make 11 inches? No, it doesn't. I'm like so messed up. Yeah, it does. Actually, it makes 11.5 inches. Okay, that's right. It's 11.5. And then this is going to be the 5.5. 5.5. 8.5 by 11. It's going to be 8.5. It's going to be 9 inches tall this way because I don't cut that part in half. Okay, so 9 inches tall this way. So what I can do here to make it wider is I can pull this out. Boy, you guys, don't stop crafting, because when you do, I'm like such a mess because I can't remember. Okay, so I actually went to be 9 because it's 8.5 inches plus 1/4 inch at the top and at the bottom, so that's 9 inches. There we go. That looks better. I was going, it shouldn't be as square as I thought it was going to be. Okay, so that works really well. You know, this is like my maiden voyage or something because I haven't done this in so long. We'll set this aside because we might use it. Okay, so this is basically my cover. I'm going to go ahead and open it up because what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do like a mixed media cover, and I just went around and I pulled out some things that I thought would be fun. I have this picture of some tools from a family reunion that we had in a vineyard. This paper, I can use like this part, or I can use Mr. Madison. This was addressed to, I don't remember. Anyway, it's not James Madison because it's W. Madison. Anyway, it's really old. It was from the Library of Congress, so I'm not sure which side I'll use. I've got this that's brown. I've got this really old map that's left over from a journal that I did for my dad. This kind of mixed media piece of its own. And these blue pieces. Okay, so I'm just going to tear and put these on here. And I think oh, and what else? I had one other thing. I have this star that I had drawn one time when I was just talking to somebody. And then I have this instruction paper. And to use these, I will have to, my video camera's doing something really weird, but hopefully it's recording. To use these, I'm going to have to use vintage photo on them. Okay, so I want to first go ahead and tear this one, because I don't want to use the whole thing, obviously, just the star. I really like the star. It turned out good, and I figured, I mean, I was just doodling, but I thought it turned out nice enough to use for something, so here we are. And it's got dirt on it and everything, a cat paw print, because my cat walked on it on the table. She's not supposed to be on the table, but she gets up there when I'm not out there. So, okay, so that I'm not going to cover with anything. I want that to be completely there. And then this I'm going to do vintage photo on both of these. I don't want to use the whole paper, and it's glossy. I'm not really sure how well it's going to work, but we'll see. So I like this part here. That looks really masculine. This is for a guy. It's a friend of mine who came down to visit me, and then he went up to Minnesota to take care of some things, and he's actually coming back, so I don't have to be alone for Christmas. Isn't that sweet? So I wanted to make him something. So it's got to be kind of masculine, but I don't have a lot of time, so it's got to be quick. All right, let me get my, see if I can do this without bumping the camera. Let me get my vintage photo. Oh dear. It's usually very easy to find. Okay, well, I'll do that later. This part, I'll just go ahead and I'll do some more of the media here. I wonder if it's out here on my desk somewhere. Oh my gosh, I'm such a mess. But I decided I wasn't going to be self-conscious about my desk being so messy, because it's always messy. And that's just me. And honestly, I know that it's a lot of you too. So you can't be critical. All right, so let's start out. Since I've got mostly this plaid and it does give some color, let's start out by going ahead and tearing up some of this. And I'm going to have to use vintage photo on this as well. So I think maybe in this video, I'll just kind of figure out what I'm doing and where I'm putting it, and then I will start another video. Oh, I found the vintage photo. There it is. Yay. Okay, so I can go ahead and do that. But I'm going to go ahead and like get the pieces all ready, and then probably it'll have to be a separate video because I don't want these to be long. And I'm saving all these scraps. I put them in my little bin of scraps so I can use them for franken paper. I have a lot of fabric in that one. Okay, so yeah, so this is all torn. So I don't want to have this all one piece, but it is going to kind of be background. Okay, so I do need, I don't know where my little puffy thing is, but I kind of need a new one anyway, so let's just get one. Almost, it's here. Nope, it's not. Okay. I love these because you can remove, this one has blue on it. I can just take the little pad off and put on a clean pad that I can now use for my vintage photo. Isn't that nice? Okay, so I have several of these, but I don't need to have a million of them that way. Okay, so let's go ahead and just quickly do the edges of these so that they look, and I'm probably going to do over this too because it's got white in it. I really don't want any white. I want it all to look kind of old and messy, and he's an interesting person. I love him. He's really a good friend, and maybe a little eccentric in a fun way, but I have to say I'm probably eccentric too. And he uses rubber bands a lot, so he puts rubber bands around everything. So I'm trying to think of a way that I can use rubber bands on this. I'm not sure if I want to like put a rubber band around the whole journal because I'm afraid that that would like you know, cinch it too much and crease it or something, but I don't know, maybe that doesn't matter. We'll see. I'll figure out some way, but I definitely want to use some rubber bands in it. And the other thing is, I'm not sure if I'll incorporate this in this journal or if I'll do it as like a separate little notebook. He just picks up envelopes that I have like from bills and stuff, and he uses those for writing down notes. He's one of these people, he's really fun. He'll be thinking or reading or talking and all of a sudden get an idea, and he just grabs an envelope and jots down his thoughts, you know, and sometimes I get to hear them and they're pretty profound and everything. So I'm kind of thinking of making a separate little notebook just out of envelopes that he can either use as a notebook altogether or he can pull the envelopes out one by one to use. Anyway, I just thought that would be fun. I mean, you know, if somebody's going to be here for Christmas, they need gifts, right? And he's also been, when I get up in the morning to work, which is sometimes 2:30 or 3:30, 4 at the latest usually, I teach kids in China, and so I can't talk quietly. I have to talk pretty loudly. So anybody who's staying with me cannot sleep past that. So he's been going out with his headlamp and working on my car in the mornings, which is really sweet. He's got it purring like a baby, if you can make a truck purr like a baby. So that's kind of fun. So anyway, yeah, he's just been, I'm really grateful for him. He's just really cheered me up during what would probably be a very difficult season. This is my second Christmas without Bill. And also Bill and I had a lot of anniversaries during December because that's when he came to get me from Minnesota. And, you know, we have different anniversaries. Our first vow was said in Menominee, Wisconsin on December 14th, which was also the day that we left Minnesota. And we arrived in Maryland on December 17th. And then we said the rest of our vows on December 22nd. And then, of course, you know, Christmas on December 25th. So it's kind of a hard time of year for me. So it's really nice to have a friend spending it with me. And like I said, right now he's on the road. He had to go back up to Minnesota. He's from Minnesota also. He had to go back up to Minnesota to take care of some things. And he's riding back right now with a pastor friend of his who's going to drop him off in Knoxville and then continue on to North Carolina. So I'll go up to Knoxville to pick him up either tomorrow or Sunday. Today's Friday. So, and then he'll be here. He'll help me finish moving stuff out of my house. Bill's in my dream house. See, and it's okay, like I went like that and it bent. It's okay because you want it to look old. Okay, so if you do anything like this, okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just use my glue stick. I have a Yoo-hoo stick someplace, which I actually like better, but I don't know where it is. Can't imagine how I would lose things on this desk, right? I mean, you can see what a mess it is, right? Not really, but it's a mess, just believe me. Okay, and I don't care if I get glue on this because I'm going to glue it down. As I get more of these down, I will either not worry about getting glue on the outside because I'm going to put probably Mod Podge or something over it. That's a nice edge there. It's not, I don't want it to be straight, but I want it to cover the edge. Okay, and then I've got my, I like this. It's like a Mod Podge roller, and you don't have to do this. You could use a credit card or a bone folder or even just your hand, but I like this because it really helps me make sure that I don't have any air bubbles and all the edges are down, and that's what's really important, is that the edges are down. Okay, so let's tear this. And again, I'm saving these little edges that I'm tearing off because I can use those in Franken paper. Okay. So I should also do vintage photo on that. Yeah, so anyway, it's just been really good. We've sat and talked a lot, and we've driven around. We went up to Indian Boundary. You know, he already had snow on the ground in Minnesota, so he was just oohing and awing over, it's so green, and I'm thinking it's so brown because it's winter. But, you know, I saw it through new eyes, and I saw that, yes, there is a lot of green, especially compared to some place like Minnesota. So it's nice. Nice to have somebody refresh your vision about the place that you live, you know. So we've worked hard because I have to get everything out of my bills in my house up in the mountains. I sold it, and the people paid cash, so it closed very quickly, and they gave me a couple of weeks after it closed to get all my stuff out, which was very nice of them. And so he's helped me a lot to like get my house ready to receive all that stuff. I did have to rent a couple storage units for the time being. But he's also been really good about making sure that I get some rest. And so Thursdays are my day off, and so he's insisted that we go someplace, go outside. So the 2 weeks that, well, he was here for like 10 days. So those 2 Thursdays that he was here, I took him up to Indian Boundary one day, and we drove around a little bit. I mean, it's kind of a drive up there. It's about an hour. And then we just pulled up to the shore and turned some music on in the truck, and we just sat in camping chairs and talked. And it was just really nice to have somebody to talk with. It's been, oh my gosh, you guys. Here's one of the things about living by yourself, whether it's just that you're single or you're widowed or whatever. You know, yeah, you can call friends, you can call family. I talk to my parents a lot. I have friends that I talk to a lot on the phone and stuff. But that's not the same as having somebody in your home that you can just talk to anytime and just say, "Oh my goodness, look at what the dog's doing." I mean, you don't pick up the phone and call somebody about that. And those seem like such trivial things. But when you go for months and months and months, and it's been, you know, we locked down in, what was it, March? So it's been since March, and it's December now. You know, that I haven't had somebody to just talk about those silly little things with, or just sit and share meals. I've gotten into the habit of eating at my desk or even in my bedroom. I have dirty dishes in my bedroom, you guys. If you don't have anybody else in the house, it's really, and you're depressed, and I've been really depressed, it's really easy to get to where you don't care about things. You don't have the energy to do anything, you know, for me, partly because of Lyme, but a lot of it really is depression and stuff. And so just having somebody else in the house that you can talk to, that you can just share those silly little things like the animals doing funny things with, or you can you know, just have meals with, not eat by yourself all the time. It's really a huge thing. It's really, really big. I have a couple of friends who have talked about moving down here and living with me, and this has made me want that even more. So yeah, it's just, oh, I want to make sure I get that sailboat. He sails, he has boats, and he teaches sailing. So that would be a great thing to have there. Okay, I hadn't even noticed when I picked up this paper. When I do a journal like this, a lot of times I'm not like looking for specific papers. I'm just like walking around in my craft room, which is piles and piles of these papers and stuff, somewhat sorted. And I just pick up, I don't really think about them. I just do it intuitively. And that's how I select my papers. So I didn't even notice that there was a sailboat on this one, which is just perfect. I mean, it's an old tall ship, I guess you would say, not a sailboat. But still. So anyway, yeah, I was just saying, it's just been really nice to have somebody else in the house. It's been amazing. And I know sometimes I talk way too much because I haven't talked much at all. But frankly, he talks a lot too. So we both have our times of talking. He lives kind of alone too, but he's got a renter, but I don't think he spends a lot of time interacting with his renter. I think he has like a separate area of the house or something. I'm not even sure that they share an entrance or anything. I don't know. So let's tear this one also. Okay, then we're going to get down to gluing these things. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to look at which are the pieces that I like the most, and those are the ones that I'm going to save to put on last so that they're not so covered up. And the pieces that don't matter the most are like the plaid pieces. Okay, so like these ones here. So let's put those around first and find some good places for them. Okay, so see, this looks like another good corner. So let's put that like right there. I want it to overlap a little bit. And let's actually, since that's going to show on the other side, let's go ahead and do this. I'll probably put some other kind of paper on the inside. Actually, I haven't thought that far ahead yet, but I'll probably do that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop this and start up another video. I love you all. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.